Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and we are finally going to be reviewing the new C8 Z06. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Provo, Utah for giving me some time with this Z06. And I have some great news. This particular Z06 is available for sale. So if you're interested, I'll include a link to the website in the description down below. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Colton. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Now this particular one is the convertible, so we don't necessarily have the best view of the engine, but I guess this will suffice. Anyways, we have a flat plane crank, 5.5 liter naturally aspirated V8 that goes through an 8-speed dual clutch automatic. Fuel economy is 12 around town, and then 21 on the highway with power outputs being 670 horsepower at 8,400 RPMs, and then 460 pound-feet of torque at 6,300 RPMs. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, we're actually going to start with the key fob here, which is the Corvette key fob. Pretty cool look overall, but I want to talk about the storage here at the Corvette. So we're going to open up the front trunk and the rear trunk. So up front, just like a Porsche 911, for example, we do have a storage space, and it's big enough that it has to have an escape button. But yeah, I mean, this adds to the practicality of the C8. And by the way, the hood is very light. It's kind of cool. And I like the sharp edges on it too. And then out back, we have yet another storage space. Now with the convertible, you can't see the engine bay in normal fashion. I mean, you can kind of see a little bit through there, but not a whole lot. But you still get about the same amount of storage as what you have in the coupe, so I think that's cool. And then my favorite part about the trunks, and the front trunk does the same thing, is they're both soft close, so you just have to get it down just enough, and then it'll do the rest of it for you. And then back to the front of the Z06, and this one is finished in cacti green, which is such a cool color on the Z06. It's kind of like this grayish green. You've got really cool headlight design here, super aggressive, and then look at all of the blacked out trim here on the front end as well. But yeah, just with the wider flares, or not flares, but fenders rather, you have on the Z06, it just gives the front end a much more aggressive appearance. And those fenders are wider for a reason. So 275/30/20 is the tire wheel setup in the front, and then 345/25/21 is the tire wheel setup in the back. And you guys can see here with the wheels completely blacked out. These are forged wheels, if you were wondering. You've got the cool blacked out brake caliper, and those rotors, by the way, are massive. But yeah, that's such a wide tire for the front tire on a mid-engine car. And then notice how the mirror cap and then the roof is all blacked out. And then you guys can see here how that's blacked out as well. Z06. This looks so cool on the Z06 just with how much wider it is. You can see the blacked out side skirt. And again, the contrast with this car is just fantastic. And I can tell the camera's not doing it justice. The filter on the camera is kind of making it so this looks a little bit wider in hue than it actually is. This is a color you have to see in person. Now the taillight design here in the Z06 is so sharp, and then you guys can see here with the spoiler, I think that looks fantastic as well. And then of course, we got all the exhaust tips here in the center, and just look how crazy this diffuser is. So putting it all together, let me guys think about the looks, but I've seen a few of these Z06s, and I'm gonna say this right now, this is the best looking one that I've seen. The contrast with the black and this new cacti green just looks so cool. Now this one's a 2LZ, so inside you've got nice soft touch trim here. You can see the stitching all throughout, and the stitching even continues on the bottom section. You got memory seats here. You've got all of our window controls. That is for the top to lower it down, and then this is for the window, so you can get a little bit more access to the engine. And then the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. I love how it says Z06 there. And then you can see here with the seats, we actually have carbon fiber on them, and then perforated leather all down the center. You've got all of your adjustments on the side here. And then you can see the nice finish on the pedals. That's for the heads-up display. And then you've got nice trim on the dash. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you can see it's got a very square design. That's a C8 thing. But yeah, nice trim all around. Z06 there at the bottom. Paddle shifters here for the dual clutch on the back. And then you can see you got a bunch of practical controls in the front, like your heated steering wheel control, volume controls, cruise control. You've got your Z mode right there as well, which actually changes the gauge cluster. It's kind of a cool animation there. So this is back to the normal gauge cluster. And then you do have regular stocks there behind it. Now I've got this full digital gauge cluster that gives you every bit of information you could ever need on the Corvette. But the cool part is the drive modes. So they'll change the gauge cluster depending on the mode that you go into. You've got all these cool little animations for everything. So I think that's kind of a fun part of it. So here's the backup camera for direct lines turn with the steering wheel, and you can see really good resolution here with the camera system. And I mean, this is definitely a nice thing to have in a supercar like this, where you can, you know, see like a close-up view of the front, for example. And then take a look at the rest of the infotainment system. It's basically Chevy's unit they have in other cars, so really good response time, easy to use, has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you do have some physical controls like for the volume. Then you got your stability control button here. You've got that for the front end lift, that's for the front camera, and then your transmission selector right here, and then the drive mode select. You can see again with all the stitching and everything, and then that's pretty cool. And then with the center console, good storage, nice padding and everything. And then we do have our climate controls here, just like the regular C8, heated and cooled seats, all of that along this trim. And you can see again, nice trim on the dash. And then I like the passenger glove box, so you got the button right here. It's like impossible for the driver to reach over here because you gotta kind of like reach over the whole thing. And then you notice it says Z06 right there, and you guys can see here with the charging pad. And then again, you get the window in the back that can roll down so you get more access to the engine. So here's our window sticker for this Z06 convertible. You guys can see all of the standard equipment, and then there's your base MSRP on just a Z06 convertible. This does have a few options added to it, including the upgraded seats and everything. There's your total MSRP on that, $139,200. And with that being said, let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood. It's a heads-up display, both the mirrors, dual blind spot monitoring, and we have the camera rear view mirror, which helps out quite a bit because visibility throughout the back's not the greatest. And gotta get my seat adjusted. Let us set off. I have been waiting for this moment for so long. And by the way, with the window rolled up, not too bad, but I'm gonna have the window rolled down because that is part of the Z06 experience. Just like driving at parking lot speeds, this thing just feels crazy. This does not feel like the regular C8 Corvette. The engine is so different in a good way, in the best possible way. And you know, I've seen people, you know, comment about the steering wheel, how they don't like it, this and that, but it's not bad. Now, just because of the height of the front end of this car, you definitely want to take it slow. Again, you do have that front end lift, which helps out quite a bit. So there's a little pothole over here. Again, $160-something thousand car. Gonna be careful with it. Now we're gonna pop it into the sport mode here. Oh, okay. It's crazy so far. That is just the sound. Sorry, I'm so nervous to drive this car. It's funny is I review like SUVs and trucks that are like this expensive, but like this, it's just like low to the ground and everything. It like that's what makes me nervous about it. So it's like I'm just taking my time. So hopefully you guys understand that. Okay. Okay, so now we can put this down. This car's so cool. Again, we're not going fast at all. And it just the sounds it makes. I'm gonna pop it in the manual mode. Oh my goodness. What an experience. Okay. I'm following. This is again, you don't have to even get into the throttle that much for this to just feel exciting. Just the sound that this engine makes, it is so crazy. Okay, we're gonna get on it a little bit here. Yep, Chevy did in fact make a Ferrari. Chevy did in fact make a Ferrari. That is just crazy. And then again, that's not even all the way to the over 8,000 RPM red line. What a beast of a car. My goodness. Just the sound of this engine. And the steering is so precise. I mean, here, we'll use this kind of roundabout to, again, not the best example of handling on the planet, but oh, yeah. This is a special car. Very special car. I don't know why I tried to upshift again. My brain is like half working. So I guess we'll get one more little acceleration and then we'll fully cap things off for the Z06 review. And this is comfortable too. Again, you gotta remember, this is basically like a street legal race car at this point. When you have this engine and this much power, you're like street legal race car, in my opinion. I don't have the climate controls on, so I'm getting kind of sweaty too, so that doesn't help out at all with my nervous feelings. Man. And you know, the thing about this car is it's shockingly easy to drive. It's not intimidating at all. Craziness. It'd be cool to be able to go all the way up to redline, but obviously not going to do that. Wow. So yeah, let's pop this back into auto mode. And if you have the money, buy it. If you don't have the money, work harder so you can buy. I don't know what else to say. This is the best performance car that has come out in a long time. And the thing is, okay, like, I don't think that I can't talk. It's so hard to explain how much of a bargain this car is. Like, Porsche just released their new 911, what is it? It's the STO, or is it? I'm thinking Huracan STO. The one with the 60, I literally, ST, right? Whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about. The one that has that's the GT3 RS that has, or sorry, it's not a GT3 RS, it's a GT3 touring body with a GT3 RS engine. Okay, that car's $300,000 starting price. It has manual transmission, which is cool, but the point I'm trying to make is every other car that is even in the same realm of excitement with this is at least twice the price, if not more. So, yeah, this is a very cool, very special car. And so, in this color, I think this color really, really sells it. So if you have the money, like I said, buy it. Let me know what you guys think.